Hi, my name's Jamie Hackley.
I'm Erin Hackley.
I'm a real estate investor in the Kansas City metro area, and the house was put on the market, and I walked in and just kind of fell in love with the 1960s decor and said, I just want to make this place my project.
I'm glad he bought it. Thought it was going to be a lot of work.
Um, and got even worse once I closed on the property. The house needed a lot of work. The kitchen was a complete disaster. A lot of water damage in the house over the years. It had sat vacant for 30 years, so the basement had, oh gosh, a couple feet of sawdust that had been there for who knows how long. Dead rodents, dead cats, rodents in the walls, dead rodents in the walls, feces everywhere. Ceilings were down with water damage. A lot of the plaster in the house had fallen apart. Wallpaper had started coming off the walls. But what it had was just a lot of just fantastic feel. It had the original carpets that I'd only seen in TV shows. And so it had some of the bones, and I knew I could fix the rest. But it needed a ton of work. Honestly, it was probably a bit of some lunacy. Since COVID, the real estate market has really turned for the worse. I mean, there still isn't foreclosures available. People are not losing their homes still to this point. You don't have to pay your bills. The bank won't take your house. And so for individuals like me who renovate homes, there's just not a lot of supply for me to buy. And so this was in my market range. I knew I could turn the house into a profit. But walking into the place, it really felt like something different than I had purchased in the past. I didn't know much about Airbnbs or VRBOs, but I thought, I bet I can make this work because I had never seen anything like it. And it was mainly because of the conditions of the wallpaper and the flooring, or just a general outlook of the house. I knew that I could fix it up with the skills that I had acquired in my life and get it to where people could go back and feel like they're visiting their grandma's house back when they're a child. And so I made it my mission. I have so many stories on the house. Honestly, I don't know what's accurate, what's fictitious. The thing is, this community really supports each other. They know no one's ever left. Everyone knows the people who lived in this home and people who lived in before them. And so, given the house had sat vacant for 30 years, I mean, I might as well had amusement park in this home. The carousel of people stopping in, wanting to see a home that they hadn't been in since they were children, or just thanking me for fixing it up. And it always proceeded with a story. And so through the stories, I've been told that the home is roughly 100 years old or older. I've heard late 1800s to 1910-ish. I've been told the foundation is older than the actual structure of the house. I know the backside of the home was a renovation done roughly in the 60s, more than likely the last time the home was renovated. And again, it's sat vacant since pretty much 1990. The basement's typically not open to our guests, but in cleaning it out, I came across my first dead cat. And while pulling the dead cat off, it had glued itself to a cigar box. And when I took it off, the cigar box was filled with Missouri tax chits, which are the coins that they gave back, pre World War II, the Great Depression. They had little plastic coins that were a tenth or 25 cents of a penny. And I'd seen them before, but I had an entire box full. That was my first scoop of sawdust I was picking up. And from that point, I decided to take caution through the rest of the house and see what else I would find.
We were just standing in the stair, like halfway up the stairs, kind of by that window, talking to one of the guys that was working on the roof. And the front door was open, and we thought we could hear something upstairs. And so Matt, the guy working on the roof, yelled up there to the other guy to see if he was okay and stuff. And next thing you know, the other guy walks in the front door, and he's like, "Are you talking to me?" And then, of course, Matt, he had to leave. He couldn't handle it, and he wouldn't then come back to work unless Jamie was here with him because he was scared.
We had multiple contractors have, every contractor loses their hammer or whatever tool that they have, and they swore they put it right there, and now it's not there. But with this particular house, it happened more than they were expecting. Individuals that I would say are just down-to-earth, normal guys that I can't imagine they don't have any room for BS in their work life, and then they started having fear, a little bit of fear, or odd things happening, things that they thought they saw and they didn't. And my wife is referencing a moment where the three of us, our contractor Matt, my wife, and I were standing at the stairs and then watched something pass through the windows and go up the stairs, and thinking that maybe it was a shadow from upstairs or through that window, that an employee that was working. And then so that's what she meant, is when he walked in through the front door, we realized, okay, he was taking a smoke break in his truck out in the car. That was not him. And that was my wife and I's first experience in the house.
He always seems to pick up on that stuff more than me. I only had one thing, and it was like right where you're sitting, but a little bit higher. And it was like it was during the day, and we were all here working upstairs. And it was like I came down here for something, and I walked back out, and I didn't pay much attention to it because I didn't want to freak myself out. But it was almost like a globe or something, and it was just like, eye level with me or whatever. And I went upstairs and I told Kelly, my friend that was working with me, we were painting bedrooms and stuff, and she said, "Oh, that's an orb." And I'm like, I don't know what an orb is, but I'm not going back down there.
We've had, we watched last year's Super Bowl in the house. We had a boy get pushed. Says that someone tried to push him down the stairs. I don't even think, we had another individual, another little kid that experienced getting hit. I just don't even see how this child could have.
Well, no, he was 4.
Yeah,
he couldn't have come up with that. He immediately was freaked out and just clung to his mom, and he. Well, I think he said something like, "Why'd you do that?" And she said, "I didn't." What do you mean? I didn't do anything? He said, "You hit me," or something like that. And she said, "I didn't hit you." And so then he just was like climbing up her body and was attached to her. He would not. He was scared. Yeah.
There's children across the street that says that there's a figure in the window, which it'll be in the gold room. We have some friends' children are afraid of the blue room's closet. Most of the attention that we get, that everyone that's worked on the house, is just a landing on the second story and the stairs coming down to this main. That's where the majority of the experiences have been.
Hi, my name is Kennedy Hockley. I'm the oldest daughter of James and Erin. When we first bought this house, I was looking around and I went down to the basement. I was standing on the landing before you go all the way down, and I was looking around. In the back room, the light was on, and I looked upstairs because I heard a noise, and I looked back and the light has turned off. That was my first experience. And then there's a blue room that's right next to this pink room, and I can't be in that room by myself. It is very scary. You can always feel a presence, just something staring at you the entire time.
Hi, my name is Jacob Bullard. I first started working on the house when the construction was just about done. I was a restoration technician for a little bit, so I knew a lot about deep cleaning and everything like that. There's always weird things coming about. You know, curtains are moving. Even with the window shut, they're still moving. And it's like every time you try and go to sleep, you feel like someone's watching you.
One time I'm here, I'm cleaning with my family, trying to get some work done, and I go into the bathroom that's on the upstairs level, and I'm in there, I'm cleaning, and then I leave, and I come back, and the shower curtain has shut itself when it was originally open, and I was gone for maybe 30 seconds.
Oh, there's this one story of I think a mother. She tragically passed away in this house by her own accord.
She hung herself in the closet of the gold room, and the little kids that live in the house right over there, they swear that they see a woman standing in that window.
I'm Reese Hackley.
I'm Tatum Hackley.
The first time I came in this house was about a year ago, and I didn't really think much of it other than my dad told me it was haunted. And so I went with him to City Hall where he was finishing some paperwork on getting the house, and someone in the City Hall had told him that a woman the original lady who lived in this house had hung herself in one of the closets. I've had like music boxes turn on while I'm trying to organize the rooms because I did a lot of the decorating in the house.
We are Omega Paranormal KC, and we do investigations in basically the Midwest area. We go in and we try to debunk the cases first, and then if things still shine through, then we end up saying that is evidence.
That's standard K2.
And what's it used for?
Use it to find electrical fields. I can sniff out wiring in walls. I can find Wi-Fi signals. Because concepts like EMF sensitivity can mess with a person's head, electricity affects water, and we as humans are mostly water. Therefore, electricity will mess with us.
Gotcha.
And if you walk into an area where there's too much electrical field, you will see things, you will feel things, you will experience things that aren't really there.
I'm Mary, and I do whatever they need me to do.
Hi, I'm Junior, and I'm the new guy, so I really just follow along and pick up whatever they need and help find things.
I'm Wendy, and I've pulled Junior into this with me. And basically, just follow along with them. You know, we have different tools like the K2 or like a REM pod, and we'll try different things. Like Mary said, we kind of switch it up. She may do a certain tool for a while, and I may do a certain tool for a while.
So before I even got here, I told you like a week ago I was hearing Carpenter songs. So I just kind of 1970s smooth classic songs, but ones that to me were kind of depressing and kind of centered around, I don't know, I feel like there's a possibility of suicide that's happened here. The person that keeps coming to me from the property, I don't know if she passed accidentally or she passed due to suicide or if it was just, I don't know. I don't know. That's my impression is I keep having this girl come to me. So it doesn't, but now I'm here, I feel an agitation. And so it feels like there's probably a male spirit and a female spirit. Feels weird that you're here watching me do this part, but this part's just pretty simplified. I can feel the heaviness already. Right, you feel it right there?
Hold on a second. Say again?
I can feel the heaviness already right there.
Can you?
Yeah. Which generally just means activity, so it doesn't really say much.
So what are you doing right now?
I am salting the property so that if anything's here, it doesn't try to leave before we can figure out what it is or more information. Hard to breathe, which again is kind of another sense of that. It's hard to breathe.
It's hard to breathe?
Yeah, but it's okay. Like, it's not debilitating or anything weird, just... energies like that. They don't like that we're here. Whatever it is, they don't like that we're here. I don't feel violence, I just feel like, what the heck and who are you?
Hey, I'm having like a really sharp, like chest pain under my right breast kind of feeling. Like not the pressure, but the sharp pain that just started.
Are you trying to give Wendy a message?
And now that I've said that, it's gone away.
Did you have lung issues?
Did you have tuberculosis?
TB. So Steven, the scientist, you want to ask me questions? Are you just observing?
Currently observing. I have no particular questions. I have nicely introduced myself to it, and it hasn't nicely introduced itself to me. So no.
I'm just asking.
Did you pass away from TB in the house? I did. That's what it sounded like to me. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Was the room that's painted blue your room? It's so hard because I don't know that they see color on that side.
You can ask them. Say,
Do you know what color the room is that we're in?
Did you have any children?
Yes.
I'm going to rule on that says no because it comes at the same time every time the station flips.
I've noticed the same.
Yes, I'm picky.
Did that one there at the same time?
Yeah, the yes came at the exact same
number.
as I always hear a strange noise at that particular station grid.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
But I'll let y'all go for a while first.
No, really. You need to just say it.
Yeah.
What number does it normally show up on?
Right before it hits 8. And then lots of times it'll hit on 11, 20 something.
Can you play ball? Or with the light?
Was it 800?
What did that one say?
Totally different.
What did that one
Something
say?
with an IE at the end. Abby or
Did it say Hattie?
Addie?
Motherfucker. Sorry.
Sorry.
Don't say sorry. You keep your...
Are you okay?
No, that's upsetting.
Do we need to take a break?
Can you go check on her?
Yep.
Just kidding? Is that what I just heard? Fuck you. Pardon my mouth. I'm sorry.
Just so you know, when they say things, it's not necessarily a macro.
If that's you, can you stop making them go off? Just move away from it.
That's cool. Thank you.
That's beautiful colors.
Can you step back for me, please? A little bit further, please. And then we'll have you touch it again. A little bit more. A little more. Okay. That. please. That's cool. Okay. I want to set up a thing where we ask you questions, and then you touch that for yes. So we need you to step back, please. Not yet. A little further. Thank you. How old are you? Is it getting the same
Yes.
number? It is?
Yeah. About halfway through 1500.
Okay.
Earlier, somebody said 50.
Give me
Did
something.
Steven come through in the 1500s? It did? Okay. Since you guys are watching that, if we think something comes through and it's in the 1500s, can you say it out loud? That way the recorders
Yeah.
can hear it.
So we were told,
Is that 1500s?
What?
It was right.
Or the 1500s? Okay.
we were told that the horse pictures were placed exactly where you had them, and that you had a lot of horse paraphernalia here, a lot of pictures of horses.
Do you like horses?
Right at the end of it, it's like,
I'm telling you, I can call it now.
Well, that's fine. I want you to.
Yeah, no, that's.
I do.
All right.
We're just not blindly believing this stuff. We want to know stuff like
I
that.
am aware.
All right, here we go. All right, scientists, good work.
Damn. It didn't happen that time.
You did there.
that's the 800s though.
Okay.
We keep getting stuff all through the 800s.
So 800s and 1500s.
You're gonna get. See, you're gonna get an answer because it hit 1500.
Well, we can still ask questions though. We just have to.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, the thing, if you slow it down, then more words will come through.
Right. How many of you were fighting on the landing?
8.
Did someone get pushed down the landing or down the steps?
Zip it.
Did you live here?
Kansas City.
Was the attic where you played, and that's why you moved the tools?
Yes.
Were you the woodworker that owned the tools in the basement?
Keep. See ya.
That's part of the things that I see as problems, and science in general tends to do too much of excluding of the personal aspects, right? So I grew up in a small town, and I would watch the weather. But if I really wanted to know the weather, I would ask the farmers, because the farmers will know the weather. Because that weatherman, if he gets it wrong, won't starve and lose his home. The farmer, however he taps into it, whether it be his knees start swelling, and he might not even know it, right? And this is what we talk about with the psychic abilities and stuff. It's like, if you just relax and let you read what you read. I read people very well. I don't know how I read them. You know, some CIA people will talk about facials, micro movements and all that good kind of stuff. I don't know if that's what I'm using. What I know is I relax, let my brain process it, and then I trust that my brain has processed real information. Now the problem is we all interject our own desires and fears and all of our emotions into those mental process. So you have to take it with that grain of salt. So when you talk with somebody and you talk about their experiences, if he says, I saw a woman in the window, what I know is he thinks he saw someone in the window, right? Now, I also try to read them and see if they really think that they saw somebody in the window. You know what I mean? Because I feel that my intuition, my recognition of people is good enough that I can generally tell if they're trying to lie to me.
Yeah.
And so then I can just exclude it. And now it's very interesting. That's actually more information. If somebody lies to me about something, it's more information than if they're telling me the truth. Because if they're telling me the truth, all I know is that's how they perceived it to be. But if they're lying to me, now I know that there's a motive to lie. Right? So now I know, A, they're willing to lie to me. B, there's a motive to lie to me, and now I need to figure out what it is. I train in martial arts, and I will ask kids all the time, did you work on what I asked you to work on? And they will tell me yes or no.
And you can tell.
I didn't need to ask you. I've been doing this for 40 years.
Right.
I know whether you worked on what I asked you to work on. What I'm really asking is, are you going to be honest and sincere with me, or are you not?
Yeah.
Because I need to know that information going forward. It's nice to do it on something that I'm sure I can tell, as opposed to something that I'm not positive of. So we bantered a lot, and part of what I bantered about is I wanted to get a read on him so that when I got information about him and what he experienced and everything, I would figure out how accurate I could take it for, what level of information that actually gives me. And he doesn't particularly want it to be haunted. He's not angling a particular direction. Now, it's a bed and breakfast. So it's advantageous to have it's haunted.
Yeah.
It is actually not advantageous for it to be haunted.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So if there are actually things that could happen that could put people in danger, that's not good for your business. But the concept that it might be, and it's it's a nice little cool, exactly.
Yeah.
That's fine. So
a little skim of a haunting.
right?
Not
So
really.
so he doesn't really have a horse in the race either direction.
Right.
Realistically, he could, good marketing can market it either direction. But we talked about that, and he does, there is some discussion about that in the bed and breakfast bit. But
something I wanted to bring up, because to your point is, I am a barometer from my experience, and me saying I had a negative experience with a male is not necessarily because of he's awful or whatever, but I was more tuned in to the female and her feelings than with his. And with my background history of my life itself, I would interpret it like, oh, that jerk. That type deal. So I want to also say, not necessarily that he was a jerk or anything, but it's also my interpretation based on the spirits that I'm most honed in, my personal history. Yeah.
So you didn't see the truth that she was just some crazy lady.
Right. No. Do you want me to poke you in the eye? Because we could do that.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Estes.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many of you were fighting on the landing?
8.
Did someone get pushed down the landing or down the steps?
Zip it?
Did you live here?
Kansas City?
Was the attic where you played, and that's why you moved the tools?
Yes.
Were you the woodworker that owned the tools in the basement?
Keep. See ya.
So that was, I hadn't heard the questions downstairs, so I didn't know the interaction. So it was interesting to hear the answers come through with that. Because when she has the headphones on, she can't hear, and she was on the second floor, and the questions were coming from the floor below. So there really wasn't.
And we weren't talking loud.
No. I was in between. I could hear them both. But there's no way she could have heard them.
Yeah.
I didn't hear him on the landing. That's where I was.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. It really was. Because, she was getting answers. And like we talked about earlier with the Estes method and the headphones and the spirit box, she could have psychically been connecting. Not necessarily that the words were coming through on the spirit box, But it puts her in a zone to where she can.
Well, I also felt like, and I'm curious because I haven't used equipment like this before, do you feel like after you have used it with one person and you pass it off to the next, that it's kind of like you're amping it up as a conduit to use? Do you know
So
what I'm
one of
saying?
the reasons we pass it on is if you listen to it so long, it can give you a headache.
Okay.
And so I've walked with migraines before because we have it on too long. And the second reason is because this person might be connecting with one spirit and another spirit might come in with the next person.
Yep.
And so that's why we pass it along to see if another spirit wants to come through. And a lot of times that does happen.
Mm-hmm. And with Wendy and the footage, because I was listening on the landing and making notes, it did seem like different spirits, quite a few different spirits came through for her. But I didn't hear the questions on the first.
I don't know that I really found anything overly interesting or surprising. I mean, the out of, what was it, like 5 or well, it was 10 or 12 hours of audio that I recorded. I only ended up with 2 possible EVPs.
An
They
EVP.
An EVP, an electronic voice phenomenon. This is where you have something that appears on audio that was or was not actually spoken in the room. And in this case, I had two clips. Both of them were on the recorder that I had put up in the attic. So, so we went to the attic first. You can remember that. When we started doing all of our stuff.
I remember being in the attic.
Yeah, the attic was pretty much we kind of started at the top of the house and worked our way down. Both of these clips were about 2 to 3 hours in. And by that point, I think the homeowners had actually left. If they hadn't, the bulk of the group had left, and we were down to like just the homeowner and his wife or something. I can't remember what it was. But in any case, once we all moved out of the attic, there was one instance where Jeff and I went up to the attic and were scanning around trying to verify whether or not we were getting some type of a signal up there. And the only other time that I went up there was to actually grab my recorder that I had left up there.
Did you wish you had more information?
There was one that I wish we had more time to investigate. And they had talked about this orb that they had saw in the living room downstairs. And they said it was like halfway off the floor, and it was just this big ball of orb that floated across the floor. And the woman had said that. And I was like, I wish we had more time to investigate, like if it was like EMF levels in the room or something else that may have caused it. But the thing is, she didn't know the time of day, so it could have been light glare. But there was nothing in there to reflect off of. Because I asked her that. I was like, was there a reflection or anything? She goes, no, it was just a static ball in the center of the room. So I wish I had more time to investigate that.
There were some, especially with the neighbor's house, the proximity of the neighbor's house, there were some definite angles between some of those windows, which happens a lot in old houses, because in old houses you didn't have AC, you wanted the cross breezes, so there's a lot of intentional angles to get good breezeways going through your home. And then with the addition on the back, that then interrupts that, because the addition on the back was obviously after the addition of air conditioning. It's always interesting to have that, but I did notice a couple of different very reflective surfaces, because they have the weird windows, and then of the neighbor's house as well. And I did think about that it could, those types of mirrored effects can easily create holograms unintentionally, right? I mean, you know.
So the box that was in the blue room, did you get anything off that when the lights went off? I don't know if you were even in the room. I know you were in the room.
I was there.
The REM pod? Is that what we're, the
I
little
don't know.
round thing
Like,
with
it's,
the lights that made
The
noise?
one that detects
It was on the
proximity.
bed.
That,
REM pod.
And then it did multiple
They have
colors
names,
one
too.
time. I'm
Yes.
like, I don't know what they are.
No, you're right. Me neither.
Did you get anything off that? Like, does it just make a color and then that's it?
Yeah, a lot of times we'll just say, like you heard us, touch this for yes or no or whatever. But there's really, unless we have a recorder setting right there, which I don't know if we did or not.
We had the cameras going.
Yeah,
But I mean, like, was there any did the cameras pick up any audio at that point? Is what I'm wondering. Or
I don't know if we asked a question and it did it. I think we asked a question, then we paused and we're talking, and then it did it while we were talking. And I just thought, geez, that's weird that's when that happened.
Well, and sometimes it can happen just if like a spirit's moving through or sits on the bed
okay.
because any motion could cause it too. But
Well, and so I discussed that one in particular because I asked what it was, and they said a proximity detector.
okay.
To which, of course, I retort, that's not a type of instrument, that's a grouping of instruments, right? So proximity detectors detects things in proximity. How it detects them in proximity is what actually defines what type of instrument it was. And that one in particular goes off electrical, magnetic.
It's the same concept as the theremin.
Yes, absolutely.
So it creates a static bubble around it, and when something interacts with the static bubble,
that has an ability to either increase or decrease the electrical charge. Yes. That's the key point to that, right? Because there's also laser ones, which it doesn't matter if you can conduct electricity. If you don't diffract light, it won't pick it up, right? So these are the variances, which is why I need to know.
Yeah.
Right, is because then it's like, well, it detects if something gets close. No, it doesn't. Nothing does that. Right? Nothing does that specifically. Things do that, and then we perceive that they have gotten close, and that's what that one does. So I just found it. I wanted to put that out because that's an interesting aspect of exactly what it would be reading as some interference to that electrical charge.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you play ball? Or with the light? What are they?
What did that one say? What did that one say?
Tell me what the IE of it, Abby or...
Did it say Hattie? Sorry.
I have the same grin as I did back then.
Are you okay?
No, that's upsetting.
Do we need to check her, right?
Can you go check on her?
Yep.
Thank you. Hey, and check on her.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, so she's scared.
Just like, I don't know what that was.
Just kidding. Is that what I just heard? Oh, fuck you. Pardon my mouth.
And discuss.
Can you do me a favor? Can you replay that at the beginning? Because I want to see if I do hear Hattie come through.
Yeah, sure.
Or with the light?
Do it again.
What did that one say?
I hear it.
Or with the light?
Yeah.
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 But you also have to put it in context because right before that, Hattie was in the room playing.
Yes.
With the piano.
And we were saying, do you like her playing with the piano? And maybe it was a child spirit saying, hey, Hattie,
come back in.
Yeah.
It
seemed innocent to me.
It didn't feel like it was, I didn't feel anything malevolent really in the house. Like there wasn't anything, I wasn't concerned. And when I spoke to Hattie, I wasn't concerned. Like it didn't feel like there was any attachment. Didn't feel like there was any kind of, sometimes that happens. Just like, to your point, I don't know if we even got that on camera, Ed, where you were saying like your name's said all the time. So it's hard to like.
Have a weirder name. I don't know what to tell you.
Something that would be interesting to know is if our spirit family, do they come across on the spirit box too? What if they're talking to Hattie in the background? And I mean, there's no way to prove this stuff. It's things that you have to think about that maybe it wasn't attached to the house or a spirit in the house.
I don't know about that one. I mean, it sounds like it definitely says Hattie.
It sounds like it definitely says Hattie because we're listening to see if it
But
says,
yes,
says Hattie.
pareidolia.
The issue,
Paranoia.
well, it's not paranoia. It's
Pareidolia.
It's
Yes.
the
Yeah.
ink blots. It's
Yes.
like if we said Maddie, would you hear Maddie?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I asked to hear it a couple of times to see if I could hear something else.
Oh, I can hear lots of other things, particularly in there, but it's not resonating anywhere necessarily. You know what I mean? It is so a lot of this is and I am worse than anyone at it. The world is chaos. It is within our human nature to try to discern from the chaos, find patterns to explain things, right? I'm a mathematician. We're notorious for going crazy because we look for patterns everywhere and our minds can see them. That's what our minds do, right? We see patterns in every number set. Every number set has a pattern, right? The whole concept behind pi is it doesn't. But I guarantee you I could see one. Doesn't mean it's actually there. It means my mind will create it because I want it to be there.
Well, it's also based
Yeah,
on
now I want
experience and
pie.
relativity. You know, I mean,
Thanks for that. Now I want pie.
Well, who doesn't?
maybe pie instead of a fruit tray.
It's not March 14th.
I don't care.
What were you saying before you said that? I didn't.
Our experiences.
I think our experiences make a difference. I mean, that's the thing is, yes, if we're even in the science of it, where it's like, oh, do we hear Hattie? It's the same type of situation, but I think that it's more likely that it's Hattie than something else because we had just had the conversation. We were speaking to the spirits directly, and it was you and I and Wendy, and I think Mary was in there too. And Hattie was in there.
And you were in the doorway.
And the producer was,
I was
in
stalking
there
like I know.
for a minute too.
Creepy.
So it's like there was a bunch of female energy in there, but we had just said her name. So it makes me wonder, like say they probably said Ed many times, does it eventually just get repeated back like an echo from the other side? I don't know. What was your take after that situation? I know that definitely heated you and made you upset.
How would you
know.
think that? Because of the FU
Yeah,
that he
'cause
drops
the
on there? Oh, yeah, no, that's probably a good. That's probably
And
a good.
leaving the room.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we
And why would you immediately go to the level that it's a bad place?
It's still, man.
If it was just the name, would you have reacted the same way?
Yeah.
Yes.
You would?
I know he and I talked about it, but I want to get that take because I think it's important, right? So explain yourself.
Well, the bottom line is it's just when you're doing something like this and you hear your child's name pop up and it's coming from one of the instruments we're supposed to be talking to spirits with, that's going to be troubling, or at least to me, because the bottom line is how many people were in that house, and we do not know if that was a child, if it was a coincidence, if it was something worse, or something completely innocent. That's the whole point, that we don't know, and it used my daughter's name, so it knows my daughter's name, whatever the spirit happened to be. So names are important. And once they know your name, that's not necessarily the best. It's not always the best thing.
Well, that's the old. I mean, that's the old way, right? It is the same throughout almost every cult, every superstition, every religion, including Christianity. You know, bring it all the way to today, and definitely in Judaism, right? The words have power.
Yeah, true name magic.
And true name magic, right? They talk about that, but that's just one of the many. You don't give a fae your name because they will take it. They then own you, right? So you don't give a fae your actual name.
Correct.
You know, but if you go through all of the superstitions and all of history, there is some authority there, and as fathers, we protect our children. So in the spirit world, it's one of those places where you feel like you probably can't protect them. And so you're concerned if that, you know, that you don't want your child even, you don't know when they exist. You don't need to be concerned about my kid, you know. You worry about other things.
Well, see, I've never thought of it like that, because when we go on investigations, we took our daughter once, and, you know, she connected because of the thing in the room was like a scout thing, and she's a scout. As investigators, if I hear her name come through, it's more of, okay, let's investigate that more.
Yeah.
You know, my triggers, hackles are not, because I haven't came across anything negative that's used our names before.
And some parents simply will not let their children drive because they've seen what dangers lie in the world of driving, right? So I think it's the same type of thing that triggered for him, which is I don't know what dangers might lie there, which means that I don't want her in that realm.
So the fear of the unknown.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Fear of the unknown type mentality, correct?
Any even illusion of danger.
Yep.
Right. She gets protected from.
Yep.
Well, how did she react?
She thought it was cool. I mean,
She thought it was cool. She was on the porch with me, so we went out on the porch and I did a clearing of her just in case something had attached. But I'm like, I don't feel anything, but I'm just gonna help your dad feel better. And but she was just like, I want to go back in there right now, and I'm like, no, honey, let's just take a moment's pause. You know. So, but
let Dad pause for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just in case.
She cleared her for him.
Exactly.
I heard you say, I was like, go with her, do your thing.
Yeah.
That was cute.
That was an experience. And what's funny is I've told other people about it, and they're like, oh, it can't be that bad. Then I showed them the first clip that I censored, where you can't really hear what I'm doing. And then they realized, oh wow, you really did say fuck you to a ghost.
Yeah.
Well, and just for the audience sake, whenever a spirit does come across and say a name, it's not all the spirits in the other side are not negative. There's very, very, very few times that we've had a negative experience with a spirit. So whenever you go and do these investigations, just remember that it's all not evil and negative like some of these other shows have shown.
No, I don't believe it's haunted because I don't believe in hauntings, but I believe it's a very interesting house that has chapters to a story. As we talked about, it appears a bit out of place. The basement appears to be built in a completely different, potentially century than parts of the rest. I mean, it has a coal chute, right? It's old. That house is old. At least the basement part of the house is old. But then the upstairs looks a little bit different. It looks like it went through a couple of renovations. There's an addition onto the back. And then, as you described earlier, this man was obsessed with doing this. Now, exactly why, no one can ever tell. But he went beyond what he needed to tend to because he was driven to. And he was driven to do it in a particular way. That's now part of the story of this house. And I think that house in general has a very interesting story. And that's why I like histories, because there's stories that are told. And I wish we had more of the writing, of the details on the page of that story that we're missing, because I think it has a very interesting story.
If it was haunted, I'm sure it's got some energy, and definitely residual energy. But if there were actual intelligent hauntings in that location, they were either hiding because of all the people in the building, or they were of a transient nature and they were just kind of, oh hey, what's going on over here, and came in for a few minutes. I didn't really get much of anything from the location.
Same here. I mean, at the time, whenever you're investigating, you might think you're hearing things, but later on, you have time to think about it and listen to it again. And I really don't think it was haunted per se. I do think there was energy there, but I don't think any spirits or anything inhabit that home solely. I think we're on this one.
Where's my hard camera?
Bye.
You're the goofy one.
No, I'm the best.
It's called the hard camera.
Hard camera.
It's hard to have you on camera.
It's very hard.
Yes.
Okay, are we ready?
Not yet.
Okay.
Actually, you may not have to. Just if I can.
No, just right there. A little bit more of this.
The water in the way?
No, you're good. It's not directly at me. I'm not sure you're aware of that.
I think that's on purpose.
And there's
guys, pause. Stand by.
Well, there were two. He said pause, pause. We had to.
So how'd you like your first actual investigation?
Paranormal investigation, absolutely my first one. It was fun. It was a good time. I mean, there were a lot of boring parts to it, as mentioned. You sit there talking and nothing's happening. But I'm a scientist, and we're used to sitting and staring at stuff with nothing happening. I mean, that's fine. It doesn't bother me. I find it very interesting. I find everyone's little interactions very interesting. I had a really good time.
How about you, El?
It's not my first paranormal investigation, but it's the first one on camera. The on camera was a little weird at times, like, oh, it's right there in my face. Oh, there's a light. But other than that, I felt like it was a good start. It was a good spot. I never been to Lexington, so I didn't grow up there. I think that it was a good start for a show.
I didn't get to work enough with Elle in the field.
I didn't feel like I worked with Steven in the field much either. Like, I think that that was the thing, is for me, I feel like I was holding back, but I didn't want to give, I also wanted to disprove or prove, like, I didn't want to give information that would mess with the instruments.
You were doing the same
like
thing
that.
I was doing.
Yeah,
you were kind of letting them do their thing. Yeah.
Doing your thing. And some of the investigative parts just took longer than I was expecting. I'm like, I already know what I know, but
your adorable little instruments will catch up to me eventually.
I'm curious. Hopefully something comes from this. So that's why I was trying to kind of ask questions and instigate, but without being intrusive at the same time. So I've done investigations, but I haven't done investigations with a team. So that was really an interesting dynamic for me, but a positive experience, because I thought that you guys all had a plethora of stories of places you've been and things
Say
like
that again, but say Omega team, because they're not going to be in this part of it. They're not going to be in until I move back.
So, oh gosh,
he does this, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's really good. Hey, you're really good at this. I'm like, I almost like it. I enjoyed working with the Omega team because they were very professional, but they had a lot of different stories to add and build of their stories together, and the legitimacy of their group was an awesome add to what we were doing. So I appreciated having them there.
Fantastic. Ready to film more episodes?
Yes, let's go. Can't wait.
All right, so how was your first investigation with Paranormal-X?
I enjoyed it a lot. It was interesting to see the dynamic of the two and how they played a part in an investigation. We didn't get to see them work together too much, but as individuals, it was interesting to see how they functioned.
How do you like working with another scientist, Ed?
It's nice. It's nice to have someone. I mean, we have people on our team that we can bounce things off of and ideas off of. It's nice to have another outside perspective that is more than just our little circle.